to Tampa Bay Business Connections, the show where we're bringing awareness to organizations and added value to their members. And this week we are talking with members from the West Pasco Pinellas Business Association. And I'm so excited that we actually have people in studio today. So my first guest, right? A real life person with me today instead of zooming in. My first guest today is Tammy White. And today, Tammy, you're talking about the Bobby White Foundation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so tell us what the Bobby White Foundation is.
The Bobby White Foundation was started in 2018 after the suicide death of my husband in 2016. And basically, we are here to help people, suicide loss survivors, after a suicide. We found, with our experience with family and friends, that after a suicide, you're not left with any guidance or anything. Resources, nothing, absolutely nothing. First responders, victims, advocates walk away that day, and that's it. So I didn't think that was right. It was really hard for us. And so for the last couple of years, we've been working on a program which we launched actually last year, our Purple Folder program, which is a folder just loaded with tons of information for loss survivors, whether it be a family member, a coworker, a friend.
Anyone affected.
Anyone affected is a loss survivor. And it's one suicide death can affect on an average of 137 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable, actually. I'm shocked.
It is. And within that realm, consider those 137 people, they're also at that point at a 400 times greater risk for suicide than the general population. So that just amplifies our suicide crisis in not only in our community, which it is significant in our community, but nationwide and in the world.
So 400%. So that's just a grief thing, right? So they're experiencing grief and like, I don't know how to deal with this, and so then they become more susceptible?
A suicide death brings on a much different type of grief than even other tragic deaths, not to minimize, because every death is tragic, whether, it's foreseen or unforeseen or, whatever. But unlike most other deaths, with suicides, we bring on, it's the stigma that is still within our society, guilt that's brought on by ourselves, survivor's guilt, it's brought on by ourselves, and it's brought on by society. And more often than not, you live with the not knowing.
Of the why?
Why.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's true, because you can't know.
Unless the note was left, and even in some of those cases, it may not make sense either.
Right.
But you forever live with the not knowing why.
Or the note that doesn't explain it or whatever.
Right.
Right. Because there's just no way to know what brought a person to a point of desperation where they felt like there was no other alternative.
That's true.
And hard or something.
And generally, it's not one thing that leads someone to take their life. It's usually, more often than not, a combination of things, kind of like the perfect storm.
Sure. Well, and I just even in my own life have had times where I felt so overwhelmed by something that I thought, I can't do not one more thing, right? Not one more thing can go wrong right now, right? Or you just feel like, that's it, I'm at my max. So if somebody reaches that, and then that one more thing does come, then...
Yeah, it's difficult because it's difficult to define, it's difficult to understand.
Sure.
And somehow they're just not in their right mind when that decision is made.
Not thinking clearly at that moment.
Right.
Yeah. And the consequences of those left behind.
Well, and they don't, people, my husband never meant to hurt me or
course not.
his siblings or our friends. I mean, that was the last thing that he wanted to do. And is the case with most suicide
Sure.
victims. Even people who survive a suicide, they say the same thing. And almost immediately after the attempt, if they survive, they regret it.
Interesting.
More often than not.
Wow. That just sheds a whole new light on where
It's-
their mind must be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In that
It's
moment.
yeah, it was like with my husband, it was kind of like, I don't know if really was a split-second decision or if it's something that he had been thinking about for a while. He did have multiple sclerosis for 25 years, but he worked full-time, and he was a land surveyor. And I left the house one day for 2 hours, and I came home and found him. Thus,
Tough.
this road that I'm on that I
Right.
didn't choose.
So he reached a point where he felt like there was no hope any longer. So
And I don't think he wanted to be a burden also.
Sure.
One thing in our community in Pasco County, which our folders are kind of more specific to Pasco, but not totally, because we have sent them out to Washington State
oh, okay.
just recently. But he had made comments in the past. He didn't want to be a burden. Now, in Pasco County, the highest rate for suicides are the West Pasco corridor from Hernando County line to Pinellas, and white males 45 to 55 and older.
Wow.
Now, last year, in 2019, our suicide rate was 119, which was exactly the same as it was in 2018. The difference is that we had, I would say it's double, but we had 2 teen suicides in 2018 from the ages of 15 to 18, and last year we had 4.
So we've added a new demographic to that really vulnerable
Right.
demographic. Yikes. So before we run out of time,
Yes.
let's talk about really quickly about the purple folder. Now, do those go in the hands of first responders? Is that how they end up, or how do you get in that loop and give them
Well, a lot of people that know me, they know that we have them through the foundation, but we've also distributed them to Newport Richey Police Department, Port Richey Police Department, Dade City Police Department, Deborah Diaz, a local lawyer here in town, she has them available. Joan Hook, who is an elder care attorney, she has them available. Trinity Medical Center of Trinity Behavioral Health also has them available.
Okay.
And Spring Gardens Recovery also has them. So
Okay.
we have them throughout the community as
in strategic places? So
Right.
if somebody is watching the show and says, oh, we should have some of those available here, how can they reach out to you about that?
they can call the foundation, and I come in and I do a brief training, and they will have the folders available to them
Okay.
to also. We're in the process of we need to update them for this year because we've got more resources than
Okay.
we did last year.
Okay. So you can make more.
So
Yay.
yeah, and also the Pasco County Sheriff's Victims Advocate requested that we have them printed in Spanish also.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're working on that, and thus our fundraiser for.
Yes. So before we run totally out of time, because we're getting down here, let's talk about Art for Hope.
Okay. Art for Hope is our signature fundraiser. This is our 3rd year, but of course we cannot have it in person.
Thank you, COVID.
So this year we're doing it virtual. We have a virtual website, and we're adding items every day. We have auction items, and we have Insta-buy items. And you can also just go in and make a donation
Okay.
on the site. And that's running from September 1st to September 30th, because actually this whole entire month is Suicide Prevention Month.
Okay.
This week is National Suicide Prevention Week. And like I said before, Thursday the 10th is World Suicide Prevention Day.
Day.
So, and
Okay.
day.
Okay.
And So even though we cannot have the event in person, we're still going to have our keynote speaker, Steve Hopper, who is a motivational coach, author, all of the above, here in the Tampa Bay area.
He speaks. He has a book. We don't know what he's called.
And he's a really good coach. But he's going to still be our motivational speaker, our keynote speaker,
Okay.
And that's going to be live on Facebook. We're going to see if we can stream it live on other venues that
Sure.
People may not be able to get on Facebook. But that'll be at 7 o'clock. Thursday the 10th,
Thursday the 10th.
and which would have been the time we would have normally had him do
event.
it
Okay.
live. So we're still trying to keep some of the same aspects of the original event.
And it's going already. The auction is going already.
Yeah.
So tell people where to go so that they can participate in the auction.
Okay, it's kind of long, but it's really easy. It's www.qtego,
Spell that.
QTEGO,
Okay.
/QLink, QLINK, /Bobby White.
We should have had that on the screen. Dang. Okay, but if they get lost and they can't find it, they can totally reach out to you.
They can reach out to me. If you're on Facebook, Art for Hope has a Facebook page. The links are posted there every day. Bobby White Foundation, I share it on there, and other platforms in my personal Facebook page. So I mean, it shouldn't be
It's
hard to
out
find.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
even if you just put in Art for Hope,
Put in Art for Hope,
and it should find you.
Right.
Find the
little blue dolphins
blue
fishing.
dolphins. Yes. you
That's
can-
our little.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, up there in
it
the
is on
logo there,
screen
yeah.
right there in the logo.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Art for Hope, that's where people can go and participate in by donating or purchasing something from the auction that will help further fund the purple folder and further fund everything that you guys do in the community around.
Yeah,
awareness.
we're also trying to start a peer-to-peer support group, and so
Okay.
this would regular grief support groups don't really work
different.
for us.
Okay.
It's different, so we
That does make
need
total
that.
sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Coming from a different place, different kind of grief.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know
Well,
this
thanks.
cannot be an easy thing. I know it's been a couple of years, but I know
It's
just from
still
knowing
hard.
you that you still struggle with maybe you could go be a part of the support group.
Well, I will probably be facilitating it.
sure.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but we will, even at the support group, we will have a licensed medical professional there.
There to help you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, guys, we are just about out of time for our first guest. We have other people waiting in the wings, so our next guest will be on shortly. We'll be right back with Tampa Bay Business Connection. Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Business Connection Show, where we are bringing awareness to organizations and added value to their members. Of course, today is WPBA, West Pasco Pinellas Business Association Day, and we are talking with Chris Pagano from 9-Round Fitness, Kickbox Fitness.
Kickboxing and fitness.
Yes,
No
it
worries. at
seems
all.
backwards
Yes.
to me. I want to say that it's for 9-Round Fitness Kickboxing, but it's Kickboxing Fitness. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. It's a great opportunity.
So tell us all about how wonderful 9-Rounds is.
Well, it really is a little bit different than your average, just, pay $10 and, work out when you want to. This is a really fun, encouraging environment where we kind of go through each station, and I'll kind of walk around just a little bit here. You can see those numbers in the background there, and we have just a great time each and every time you work out. Your workout is done in 30 minutes. Each and every time that you come in, you can come in on your schedule. We have different trainers that can kind of, meet your needs as far as if you just need a little bit of a soft push and, some encouragement while you work out, that's what we're here for. Or if you want someone that's really going to push you, you're training for a triathlon, you're training for an event, or you have some kind of fitness goal, whether it's losing weight, building muscle, anything like that, we can help you reach your fitness goals in 30 minutes, also learning basic kickboxing skills at the same time. So it's a great program.
Basic kickboxing skills, right? Right?
Yeah.
So any old grandma can come in and do it too.
Absolutely. Carol, I'm expecting later on today. She's 66 years old. I do a little quick feet with her, come up with her and just kind of modify the different workouts just to kind of give her a little bit of push, those types of things. So it really is for almost anybody who doesn't really have the drive or the motivation when they go to their normal gym, or if they don't have any motivation at all to work out. If you come here, you get your free workout for the first time. Is always free. You get to see and taste what it is to be part of the 9-round club. And it's just so wonderful when you see somebody come in here and they're like, wow, I didn't really want to learn a whole bunch of boxing skills or anything like that. I just was kind of wondering if you could help me with fitness. But now that I'm learning these basic boxing skills and building upon them, that's just, I feel so cool and I feel so powerful. And so it's empowering for people as well.
So something you haven't really talked about, but I happen to know because I have been to 9 rounds before, the heart monitor. Tell us about the whole monitor and why you're wearing it and what that does for you.
Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't give me any trouble here. So if you can see behind me here in a second on the TV, it's a little glary there, and I'll try and angle a little bit better there. But I'm wearing a heart rate monitor, and it comes up on the Pulse TV there. And it is just wonderful that we're able to kind of track where each member is at in the workout. So that way, if they're not pushing themselves hard enough, we can say, hey, let's pick up the speed, pick up those reps. Or potentially if, they're overexerting themselves, they'll be in the red zone. And I can say, hey, cool it back a little bit, catch your breath, and then get back at it. So it's a really great tool to help make sure that we're pacing each individual at their pace based on science and their heart rate. So it's just such a great tool as a trainer to really make sure you're getting a great workout every single time and knowing when to hit the gas and when to maybe put on the brakes a little bit.
So there's some different colors on there, you're saying?
Yes. We have your gray zone is when you just get in, your blue zone's when you're warming up. Your green and yellow are where you want to be. That's where your heart rate is in that 70 to kind of 85% range. And then once you get into like the high 90s or the 90%, we're going to see you in that red range. And that's where we're going to try and, hey, let's tone it back a little bit. So there's a nice system there. And then we also have our bell system as well that's coded the green, yellow, and red. So with that bell system, basically each station of the 9 rounds, or each round, if you will, is going to be 3 minutes long. So you'll have a 2-minute and 30-second period where you'll have the green bell that sounds. Then after 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you have the yellow bell that goes off. And in here, we hit the gas. Out there, you hit the brake and slow down for the red light. In here, you hit the gas and you go ahead and push through that workout for the last 30 seconds. So that way we know we're getting a great last couple of reps in, good last intensity on that heart rate right at the end of the round. And then you get that 30-second red bell to go off. And you get 30 seconds to kind of cool down, shuffle over to the next station. We may have you do a little, intermittent workout if you're still feeling fresh, some jumping jacks or things like that. And then you get ready for the next round.
Okay, so that bell and light system moves you from one station, if you will, to the next station.
Absolutely. So that bell system is the key to the whole place. It is absolutely the tool that helps us pace everybody and get that great workout in 30 minutes every single time. So it's just kind of ingrained in me. I almost know when the 2-minute and 30-second bell is going to go off. I'll say, oh, we're more than less than a minute left. That 30-second bell is going off any second now, and then it'll go off. And I really don't know how it's already ingrained into me after 2.5 months of being here. But it's almost part of my blood now.
So you're dreaming about it in your sleep now. The bell's gone off. So there's just the one trainer in there for all 9 stations, or tell me how do you train everybody all at the same time?
Yeah, great question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you set up at your station. I'm not going to hover over you the whole time, but what I'm going to do is I'll get you set up. During that red bell, I'll come over to you. I'll say, this is the workout we're going to be doing on the next station. Here are some of the moves, or here are the moves that we're going to be doing. Here's the proper form and the technique. And then I'll watch you do your first couple of reps, and then I'll move on to the next person. So I'm able to kind of just go over each of the exercises in a couple of seconds and then kind of give you some pointers and tips as you're doing the exercise. And I can kind of slide and go around the room from station to station, giving little tips and critiques and pointers to everybody. And of course, we have little whiteboards up on the wall as well that tell you what we're doing at each station. So just like you see that little 9 round.
The little 9-round board there. Okay. So if you get to the station and you recognize the chicken scratch, right?
Yeah.
So if you come on a regular basis, you're going to start to recognize, what a round kick or, those kinds of things are. So you could start without the trainer if you wanted, and then the trainer can just peek over at you, right? Make sure your form is right or whatever.
Absolutely. And during peak hours where we know we're going to have a lot of members in here. We have 2 trainers, so it kind of will split the floor at that point. So then there's, a tip, but it's typically exactly that case where you come in, there's maybe 1 or 2 people up on the floor. Sometimes you come in, like if you were to come in at 3:30, I like to say that we're going to have a party at 3:30 because I have like 4 or 5 regulars that come in right at 3:30 when we open back up after the midday cleaning. But if you come at like 4:15, all my 3:30 people are gone. So we might be doing the workout together, even though I just had a full house. So let's say you come and there's all 9 stations full. That's okay, because in 3 minutes, station number 1 is going to open up at the next bell, and whoever's at station number 9 is going to be completing the workout. So even if we do have a packed house, it's not like it's a big deal at all. Within 3 minutes, you can get your wraps on, get yourself ready, and be ready for the workout.
Right. By the time you get your wraps and your gloves on, that person's done with that last station anyway, right? Just
exactly.
move you right in. I don't ever recall having to wait more than 3 or the most 6 minutes on a really busy. That depends on when you come in, right? So there's something we haven't talked about is your hours of operation.
Yeah, so we have, right now we have some summer hours at the Trinity location, but most of the time during the week, we are open at 5:30 in the morning, and then we do take a break depending on our location. We own the locations in Newport Richey and Chelsea Place Plaza, and then also in Safety Harbor and also in Dunedin. So those are the 3 locations that our owner, Kim, is affiliated with. And so your membership here actually gets you access to all 3 gyms. So especially if you're in the Tarpon or the Palm Harbor area, you have, really excellent access to all 3 gyms, and you can kind of see who's the trainer that fits your personality, and whether you work in one area or you live in the other. It's really just nice to kind of have that as well. And I'm sorry, I think I missed one other point that you had asked. If you want to re-ask that, I've lost it.
I can't even remember what I asked you, actually. I was just, hours, definitely, because you mentioned a break in the middle of the day, and I thought, that might be something that people because a lot of gyms are open, some are open 24 hours, right? But because you're providing one-on-one personal kind of hand-holding assistance, you obviously can't be open 24 hours a day unless you're crazy people.
Correct. So like I said, we do open at 5:30 at most of our locations during the week. On Saturdays, we open up at 8 o'clock. And then we're open. We do take a break at the Trinity location. The break is from 1:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon. So that way we can shut down, take a lunch, mop everything up, and make sure everything is sterilized. Not that we're not also wiping down in between rounds and, getting people's
Sure.
sweat off there. It's very sanitary. So that's one thing we're doing to, make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable and safe. And then we go open back up at 3:30 at all of our locations, and we're open till 9 o'clock here in Newport Richey and 8 o'clock at the other two locations.
Okay. Well, gosh, you should be able to sneak in 30 minutes somewhere in that
Right.
time
There's
frame.
no excuse.
There really isn't any excuses. If you love to exercise, and you probably aren't looking for excuses, but people like me who are like, I don't like to sweat. It's easy to find an excuse, but 30 minutes, come on. Right?
Exactly. So it's 30 minutes. You have someone there that you've built rapport with, that's encouraging you, that is learning your personality, knows what you like, knows what you don't like, is going to motivate you in the way that they see actually does motivate you, because we've been doing this for a while. We know how different people react, and we know how to push your buttons to make sure you get the result that you're looking for.
Yeah, so my trainer was always very good at not pushing me too hard because I get whiny, but gently pushing me to break a little bit of a sweat. Clara, you can do it. Any last thing? We're almost out of time, but any last thing you'd like for the viewers to know?
If you haven't tried anything like this before, come try it one time. It's so fun, and you're going to get results no matter what your fitness goal is. Just come to one of the 3 locations. Come see any one of our trainers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even if it's just about feeling stronger and more sure on your feet, I think it's a great fun workout. Well, thank you so much I know you couldn't make it into the studio, but thanks for zooming in and sharing about 9 Rounds and what you guys do over there. I appreciate your time. And if any of you in my audience have any more questions, hop on 9rounds.com and get their phone number, reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to come in for my free workout. All right, guys, we will see you again on the Tampa Bay Business Connection Show. Welcome back to Tampa Bay Business Connections, a show where we're bringing awareness to organizations and added value to their members. And as you can see, I have another in-studio guest with me today.
Yay.
Welcome, Gigi.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm lovely. How are you today?
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
I know that you've been in here before.
Yes.
But today we are going to talk about dynamic title.
We are?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yes,
okay.
that's perfect, right? So tell us about dynamic title and what you do.
Well, basically, I am the salesperson for Dynamic Title. I get the orders, I turn them into the office. I now do not have to do all the guts of it anymore, which is kind of fun. When I had my own agency, I had to do A to Z. Now I do A and Z. So it works out pretty well because I also do the closings, and that gives me an opportunity to meet the new realtors, too, when the people are selling.
Sure.
I already know that realtor. When they're buying, I get to meet a new
that
guy.
person.
So
Wow. So I don't know a whole lot about your industry.
you don't.
I don't.
I'll learn you.
You learn me up some stuff here, my friend. So because of what you do specifically, the person who is paying the money, tell me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
they get to choose their own title company.
Yes, yes. Basically,
Okay.
the scoop is if you pay, you get to pick. So pick me, GGD. That's my tagline.
See, and that is why I knew that, because of your tagline. I've heard it before.
Yep. I'm kind
Like,
of
oh,
known as the Duchess of Dirt.
the
is what-
Duchess of Dirt.
Yes.
Buying dirt, selling
Yes.
dirt,
Refinancing your dirt or building
Or
on your
building
dirt.
on your
You
dirt.
see?
There,
See?
it
how,
works.
How long has it been since you've heard that?
I know, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
it works.
Well,
right?
it's been a while for everybody right now with this pandemic. We
right.
haven't gotten out and about.
Yes.
I'm having trouble without hugging. It's hard.
That is hard,
Yes,
right? You see
yes.
people and you're like,
Well, most of my closings end with a hug, so it's
Aw.
So
this is really hard for you. You're a
oh my
hugger.
gosh, yes, yes. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, that's what we do.
They're huggers there.
Oh yeah,
huh?
big time.
Interesting.
My grandfather would hug me so much he'd squeeze the life right out of you.
Squeeze
so.
the air clean out of
Yes,
you.
yes,
That's how you knew you were
yes.
loved, right?
Exactly, exactly. But
That's an awesome way to end.
Oh.
Really stressful. When you're buying a house,
Oh.
it's stressful, right? You're like,
it is, it
through
is.
this whole process. So what a wonderful way to end
Yes.
that experience with just a
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, most people are pretty happy by the time they come to see me because most of the
the
hard
stress
stuff's
is
over
over.
with, you know.
Okay,
They're
that's
here to get their keys. That's what they want. And then the realtors are happy
yes.
because they get their money. So
right. So everyone's happy.
everybody's happy when they come to see me.
That's
yes,
awesome.
yes, yes.
So you're out there in the community, letting people know that hey, dynamic title is the way to go for your title.
Yes.
What other pieces besides a closing does a title company do?
Well, the most important part, I'm a salesman. Saleswoman. I sell title insurance. So
There it is, title insurance.
yes.
Okay.
So basically, what a title company does is we research the property to make sure that the people that are selling this property to the buyers are actually the ones that own the property. So
What a great idea.
yes,
right?
what a concept. So
That's a good thing, right?
yes, most certainly. So we make sure that, of course, and that the people that are going to be signing the deed to the property are the only owners of that property. So, you don't want to find out if you've been sitting in your kitchen and eating dinner that somebody knocks on the door and says, hey, thanks for making the dinner in my
house?"
my kitchen. So we make sure that the people that are signing the deed do actually own the property, and then when those people are signing a deed, do they have any liens or judgments that are going to attach to that property?
So
So-
they'll follow the property.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. If you purchase a property on the courthouse steps, you have no idea whether or not you're going to have all kinds of junk that attaches to that property or not.
That's
So,
scary.
yeah, don't ever, if you don't do anything else in your life, do not buy a property without title insurance.
Wow.
I've heard some terrible, terrible nightmares. Another crazy thing, and it's weird because when you're talking about insurance, you talk about things that are not good. You
Right.
know, because that's what you're buying the insurance part, right?
To
Is-
protect you from the not good.
exactly.
Yeah.
One of the transactions that I was heard about in one of our education is the people had moved into their house, built a pool in the backyard, and the pool was not actually the house, everything else, nothing was on the right property. It was on the
Oh my
property next door. So the quick fix, and thanks to God that these people were very amicable and said, well, okay, we'll just swap lots, and then when we're ready to build, you'll be our neighbor and we'll be nice
it'll be
people.
okay.
So yeah.
Wow, but it could have gone very differently.
Oh, my
right? 'Cause
gosh,
They
yes.
totally owned the lot.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Oops, that
Yeah.
didn't go as planned. So
Well-
what is the insurance is that you guys have done the research and you're ensuring that it's
That-
not like car insurance that protects you from something catastrophic.
Right.
It's insurance to ensure that it's all
Right, it's not like homeowners or something.
Okay,
You know, if
it's a
the
different-
hurricane comes and blows it away, you still own the dirt that I'm insuring. So,
Gotcha.
so whatever's on that property is something other than title insurance. Title insurance is covering that you are the only owner of the
Okay.
property, and
That's different.
that there's no liens or judgments against you or against the property from somebody else that you purchased it from. And also for mortgage companies. If you're a mortgage company and you're wanting to loan somebody, $100,000 on a property, you want to make sure that the person that owns the property actually does own it so that your money is insured as well. So there's an owner's policy and there's a mortgagee policy. So the mortgagee policy, the bank requires it, and that insures the bank only. It doesn't insure the title to the owners.
Interesting.
So it makes sure they're in first lien position, and that other mortgage from the seller that just sold the
Sure.
property, these people, that mortgage is paid in full, and
Because
that kind of
otherwise
stuff.
you could end up with some ugliness on that side of things.
Well, that's part of the things that we do too. When we run into the ugliness, we make it happy
Not
before
ugly.
you buy it. Yeah.
Wow, so that's all the kind of upfront stuff. And
Yep.
then the closing is just after all the pieces are in place and all that's worked out.
Yeah, we're kind of like the ringleader. You know, we get the buyer and the seller together. We take care of the realtors. We got the pest inspection guy and the survey guy and the inspector here and the inspector there. All these people all come together through giving us their information so that we can bill, put these invoices all on the closing statement and pay that at closing.
So the money goes to the right places.
Exactly. I had a lady just called me up on the way here today, and she's looking for her wire from the mortgage company that gave the loan to the buyers. And I'm like, you're not going to get a wire from them. It's going to be coming from Dynamic Title. And she says, "Ooh, I feel better already." You know, because we don't, of course, disperse on anything till every
Right.
I is dotted, T is
Right.
crossed, Q is slashed, and all the money's in too on top of that. So
So it's a truly done solid deal before
yeah.
anybody starts cutting checks to
Yeah.
anybody. Well, that's actually really wonderful to have one place that manages that, because from the layman perspective, like when we bought our home, it was really stressful for me. I thought,
Oh, yeah.
well, you know, the pool didn't pass inspection, and then this happened, and then that happened, but to have
Yep.
a person that you just say, Gigi's got it.
Exactly.
Right?
Well,
She's
you know,
handling this.
I've been doing title work for 29 years now, and that's one thing that I really feel good about, is that people do trust me when they know that, well, okay, well, they're sending the money to Gigi, so, and I'm a licensed, insured title escrow agent with the state of Florida, so you don't get that way without having your fingerprints checked 14 times
Right.
and your FBI
Selling your
checks.
children.
And,
Right.
Yep, and the Super Bowl's coming, and they double, triple check all that too, so I get in right away on that. So I'm a volunteer at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Hopefully this year I'll
Hopefully.
be doing it again.
So they really know that they can trust you because you've
Oh, yeah.
been vetted.
Yes.
Vetted well.
Yep, yep. And one of the things, too, is I offer referrals to people. For instance, I know the good realtors. I know the bad realtors. I know the
Sure.
excellent mortgage companies. I know the
Sure.
ones that are a little difficult to work with. So after 29 years of doing it, there's a lot
In
of
this
people that I
area,
know.
Right?
And they're very trustworthy and people that I can count on. So if I can count on them, you can count
Right.
on them.
So you are just this resource, really.
Yes, I try to be.
Tried and true. These are the people that I know will take good care of you.
Exactly.
And as a business person myself, that is super important to me.
Heck yeah.
And I only refer to people, and I'm almost a little bit snooty about it sometimes. If I don't know you, I'm not referring to you.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but my clients are really important.
Heck
I
yeah.
like protect them like a little mother.
Ditto.
Chickadees,
Yeah.
right? You're like, I'm not letting you at my people until I know I can trust. That
Exactly.
you're going to take really good care of them.
And that's the most important part,
Yes.
you know, of anything that you're going to do. Even if you're going to, you know, go and open an account at a bank, you got to be able to trust the people that are working there,
Right.
you know, or your financial investors, or even your insurance company. I mean, I could call up my insurance guy and say, "Hey, guy, you know, I'm having a little issue with my house here right now," and you can count on that.
Just know
So.
that they're going to have your back.
Heck yeah.
That's
And I
super
have them on
important.
speed dial on my phone, you know? I mean, I just push the button. Everybody's like,
Call
well,
so and
do you know your
so."
account number? No, but I
No,
know
but-
Bill.
And he does. He
Yes,
has my account
yes,
number.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's I think people forget that you lose that really personal
Mm-hmm.
when you go, it's like going to the big box store kind of, right? Versus
Exactly.
your local shopping experience
Yeah.
where you know the people and you walk in, they recognize you, you know them. It's a similar experience, I think.
Yes, and that's
So-
what, WPBA is all about.
Yes, yes.
This organization is just incredible, and it's kind of sad this year with everything that's going on. We can't do our bowling for boobs, which is like
I know,
really helpful
I
to some
know.
women around here that are really going through some hard times. And the Grinch, I haven't heard, is it
Yeah,
canceled
we're, yeah,
too,
we're not going to be able
postponed?
to do the Grinch
Yeah.
just because we can't put,
That many people
300
in one
people
room?
in a room
Yeah.
right now. We just
Well,
much
I
as we'd
vote
love
that we
to.
have like 12 different menus and this many people and this and
There
this
you
one.
go.
This.
Oh, there's a nightmare for management purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
The
We'll have many-
board of
many-
directors kind of love me,
Right.
right?
Yes. I'm totally not passing that on to my
Okay.
fellow board members.
There you go.
Because what a nightmare. But that would be awesome that we could get together.
Yes.
And the thing that I think that I'm going to miss so much this year is the bringing of the families, because
yeah.
Grinch makes such a difference in the lives of people in our own communities.
Most certainly.
So getting to make that difference in their lives, but getting to see them and the returning ones
Right.
from previous years coming in and saying, this is what you guys
thank you
did.
so much for what you
Yes.
did for me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It made a difference in my world, which I believe that's why we're here, make a difference in the world around us.
Exactly.
So, well, we're just about out of
Yes,
time.
yes.
Thank you
Oh,
for
yes.
coming into the studio with
I'm
me.
happy. I'm happy too. And
So
and
nice to be here.
Don't forget, if you are buying, if you are selling, if you are refinancing, or if you are building on your dirt,
dirt.
I'm your
Call
Duchess
me
of
the
Dirt, please.
Duchess of
Yes,
Dirt.
and when you call, the office is 727-843-0006, and make sure and tell the girls that I told them about you.
Yes, give credit where credit's due.
Yes.
Okay, we are out of time with this guest. But And welcome back to the Tampa Bay Business Connection Show, where we're bringing awareness to organizations and added value to their members. So our final guest today is my friend and the lovely Delynn Gaston. Are you with me yet?
I am. Hello, Clara Rose,
Hello,
and I
my
love
friend.
you too. One of my besties here.
That's right. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I sure appreciate your time.
No problem.
So you are here to talk about the wonderful WPBA.
West Pasco and Pinellas Business
Yes.
Association. I know where my heart is, that I've been a
Yes.
member of for about 10 years now.
Yeah, actually not just a member, but you were kind of in on the ground floor, weren't you?
In the well, kind of, more or less. So it did start probably about a year or two before I joined in, but there was probably like maybe 5 people at the time. It was when the market was doing really, really badly, and we're all
Yeah.
sitting around saying, well, what should we do?
How can we fix this? What can we do?
Exactly.
Oh, mercy. And we've come a long ways. So tell our audience, if they're not familiar, tell them about the West Pasco Pinellas Business Association, if you will.
Okay, nicknamed WPBA
Yes.
has been around, as I said, for more than 10 years. I've been with it for 10 years. I think it was 2008, roughly, it started. And it started out as a networking group. And this is definitely one of my favorite stories to tell. So it started out as a basic networking group when, some of the networking groups were really not that popular. They were just kind of getting off the ground. And as I said, it was just a handful of people at the time kind of sitting around trying to figure out how to, turn the markets around and get
How to
business.
survive.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then over the years, we did start growing in membership and such. And one of the things I think that makes us a little bit different than other networking groups, and I think that makes people want to join us, is that in addition to being a networking group, which is how we started, we also started giving back to the community. We started doing some events, and again, just to bring the community together with our members. Let's face it, we all live and work in this community. So our clients are the people who live in this community.
Right.
So we wanted to do something to appreciate them, show our appreciation to them by giving back to them. So we were doing things like some events, some Christmas events, and which we all know how the Grinch saved Christmas. We have a wonderful bowling event that we do to help breast cancer women struggling with breast cancer right now. And then we did something in the also called a what was it? It was a summer fling or a spring fling kind of a thing as well. So there were several events that we did where we invited the community to come and be a part of it with us, and we would do some fundraising during that time and give back to the community. Once we started doing that, and we kind of started doing it on a little bit of a regular basis because it felt good.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
It feels good giving back.
Yeah.
So our accountant basically said to us, you guys really need to do something. You're collecting a lot of money in, So, the IRS is going to start wondering. So that's when he set us up and put us into the nonprofit, the 501c3. So that's kind of how that came about.
And we do. I say we because I'm a part of WPBA too. We do some really, really amazing things in the community. The How the Grinch Saved Christmas is huge. It's a huge event. And this last year, I don't know if you remember the numbers, but wow, it was like standing room only. We almost need a bigger venue. Of course, maybe not this year because we're in COVID mode, but wow, it was standing room only. It was crazy.
I know. It really has. And how it started out, it's really kind of funny. I don't know if I have time to tell the story of how it started out, which is really, yes, okay, good. It is definitely one of my favorite stories, and you've probably heard it a million times because I say it as often as I can. But it's one of the ones that kind of started us out way back when we started saying, okay, so business is slow, and we started saying, well, let's do something to bring our members together with the community. And we started to say, well, let's do a home buyer seminar because I'm in the mortgage business. The founder of WPBA, Barry Horvath, he is also in the mortgage business. So we said, and at the time, keep in mind, this is back in 2010 roughly, the mortgage business was pretty non-existent. There was not a lot going on. People were losing houses. And that's actually kind of funny because it started out as a lot of people are losing their homes, sadly, to foreclosures and short sales. When they, sorry. Are you guys there?
There,
sorry.
you're back. You went away for a moment, but you're back. It's all good.
I had a phone call.
It's all good.
But anyway, so there was a lot of short sales and foreclosures going on at the time, and people sadly were losing their houses left and right. So we wanted to educate the community, the real estate partners, things like people in the community in the real estate world, or people thinking of buying, or if they had a home that they might have to short sale or foreclose or whatever. We wanted to give them education. So we did a seminar on short sales and foreclosures at the Board of Realtors. At that seminar, and we invited people, and it was shortly before Christmas. So jokingly, we called it How the Grinch Stole My House.
Oh, I haven't heard that part before.
I know. If you go back to the very first
Oh,
Grinch flyers that I'm sure are out there,
somewhere.
that's what it was. That's what it was called. How the Grinch Stole My House. Because
Oh.
at the time, people were losing their homes,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was short sale or foreclosures. And we were again sponsoring a. We had some snacks and some food, and we have some music and everything. And we did it at the Board of Realtors, and it was right before Christmas, so it ended up being more kind of a party thing than,
An educational party, right? Right.
then so the seminar part was like 30 minutes. The party part was like 3 hours.
Right.
To the point where the next year, Sammy Copeland from the Board of Realtors said, guys, because she charges one fee if you're giving an educational seminar, she charges a different fee if you're renting the room for a party.
For a party. So they didn't let you get away with it twice, is what you're saying.
No, no, yeah, she didn't. So, yeah, she said, guys, as much as, and I love Sammy to pieces, yeah, she kind of figured that out quickly. But again, it all kind of just happened. But what we had done at that, how it kind of all started was, you get a whole bunch of people in a room. So in this community of Newport Richey, what do people do? We sell 50-50 tickets.
Well, of course we do.
Like that.
Right. Because it's fun.
So it's fun. So we're selling 50-50 tickets, and everybody's having a great time, and they call the person at the end, and then we sat there and we said, so what do we do with the other 50%?
Right.
We have this stack of money here. What should we do? Well, at the time, Barry had a friend whose wife was going through cancer, and she was in stage 4. And sadly, they had, I think it was 3 kids or 4 kids, I don't remember. But anyway, they had children, and there really wasn't going to be much of a Christmas because obviously medical bills and everything that was going on in their lives. So we actually took the money and we went out and we bought Christmas presents that year. So we bought Christmas presents for the whole family, the children, as well as the wife, as well as him. And because we just felt that we wanted to give them, even if it was for a little while, something that wasn't related to what was going on in their life. We wanted to give a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of happiness amongst all of the stuff that they were dealing with. So that's kind of how the first one started. And it was a lot of fun. And like I said a million times, at the end of that, we went, wow, that felt good. Let's do it again.
That was awesome. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And so now we are how many years later?
Yes,
this year is 10, right?
This will be our 10th year, yes.
Year of the Grinch.
Due to COVID, not sure how it's going to go yet, but yes, this is going to be our 10th year doing the Grinch.
Wow.
And it has been amazing, and this community has come together like unbelievably, and all of the business partners and people within our WPBA organization and outside of the organization, just the business community in general, have really poured their hearts and their lives into this event that we do, and we've really enjoyed the success of it together.
Wow, and it really is wonderful. It is making a difference in lives within our community, right? It is. Sometimes when you donate to a charity or you get involved in something, you don't really know where the money goes because you can't see, beyond the event. People can tell you where it goes, but you don't really know. But this, we really know where the money's going, and actually the families are there, right?
They're at the event, and it all goes back to local people right here. It's not leaving this area, this community. And like we said, most of the time, if they're up for it, the families are invited, and they're there, and you get to meet them, and you get to have dinner with them, and you get to talk to them. It's really been amazing.
Years past, even. I know this year we had some people that were there last year, so you get some updates, and so you see what your assistance or your love gift or whatever you want to call it, because we're really providing Christmas often for these families, these kids who probably wouldn't have had Christmas. And so that is a really big deal. That's a big deal to us because it feels good to help, but it's a big deal to their families and their friends and their it's a big deal to those kids. So,
And I
what a
think,
cool
and I think
thing.
you're right. I think that's one of the things that does make us a little bit different because it is right here. And you're right. We do invite those families back. Who was a recipient this year gets invited back next year, so we can hear how it changed their lives. And I think that's nice. I think people want to hear that because, like you said, so many times they give money and you never hear another thing about it. So now they can see the people and talk to the
Yeah.
people, and the people that we have had such amazing stories, as you know.
Yes.
We've had some beautiful, beautiful, amazing stories.
Yeah, some real tearjerker stuff for sure. But aside from the tearjerker stuff, there's also some really amazing things where you see people, come back and say, wow, this meant the world to us to be able to provide Christmas for a family, or wow, we didn't get
Yes.
evicted from our home because, of this
Right.
extra support or whatever. So I'm WPBA, I'm a part because of the heart part. You can network anywhere, and we have a wonderful organization, seat-specific networking. We have some non-seat-specific networking, but the heart part is what attracted me to membership. And I know in talking with different members that a lot of people were attracted by that same thing. It's like we are really and truly making a difference in the community around us, which is, of course, I believe we're called to do. So fits beautifully with my belief system. So, anything else you want to share really quickly? We're almost out of time, but anything else about WPBA that the world should know?
I would encourage people to go because, like I said, we are absolutely different from any other networking group. Like you said, you can network anywhere, and there's some great groups out there, but we are definitely different. And I would encourage people to go on and learn about us. And whether you have a business or not to represent, just go on and learn about us and see what we're doing because not everything is seat specific, as you said.
Right. We're doing other things too. So
We are.
thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy, I know, crazy busy life and schedule to be here and talk about WPBA. I always appreciate you, my friend.
Oh, and I love you too, honey. And I would always, it is absolutely one of my passions as well, WPBA, and wouldn't be part of it for this long if I
If it
wasn't
true.
passionate about it. Yes, if I
That's
wasn't
for sure.
passionate about it.
That's for sure. All right, my friend, I will see you at our next virtual networking. Thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I will see you guys next time on the Tampa Bay Business Connection show, focusing on WPBA right here with me, your host, Claire Rose. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.